It's a beautiful day. Sky falls, you feel like it's a beautiful day.
Hey everybody, this is Jeremy from Communicate Better blog. We're so excited to be here with you. This is take 3 of our Hangout because we're having some Google Plus issues. But I'm here with my partner in crime, Jenny Dempsey.
Hello.
Also connecting all the way from the Netherlands. We're connected over 3 time zones. We have our good friend, Margerita De Miranda.
Hi, everybody.
And we're so excited to talk about one of our favorite topics, which is customer service. And this is actually the first time we're talking with Margerita. We've exchanged emails, and we've had the pleasure of communicating over Twitter for several months now, I think. And it's been a lot of fun to read your insights that you share, Margerita.
Thank you.
It's coffee and customer service, but I am cheating and drinking coconut water. What are you guys having today?
Well, I'm having tea, herbal tea, no coffee, because it's already evening. So.
And I have my coconut water with pineapple. Yeah, it's so crazy that we are on like 3 different time zones right now. It's crazy that it's nighttime for you over there.
No, but I think it's very cool. You know,
It
that's
is.
what technology enables these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it cool that it brings us together? Yeah. And the good news is it's raining in all 3 time zones today.
Yes.
I don't know if that's good news, though.
I personally am a huge fan of the rain. It actually increases my morale.
Oh, okay. I'm not, so.
Me neither.
Okay.
I think it decreases my morale.
Yeah, I second that.
So we're gonna pepper Margerita with some questions today. How about let's start with just take a moment to introduce yourself and tell us what you're about and what you do.
Okay. Well, I live and work in the Netherlands, which is a very small country in Europe. Our neighbors are Germany and Belgium, actually. We interact and we do a lot of business with all kinds of countries, so we rely on export, and we've always done that. I have a business of my own called Margerita De Miranda, and the business that I'm in is helping companies and people who have their own businesses to improve their customer services and also set up a customer strategy. Before I started on my own, I used to work at KLM, for example, and there I was responsible for developing all service-related trainings for the entire cabin crew. I also used to work at the National Telecom Company, KPN, and in my role as a project manager over there, I was always involved with customers, and I used to work for customers to develop their internet and also expand their international settings with regard to data communication. So in those type of roles, I've always been involved with customers, service, internal customers, but also external customers.
Oh, that's awesome. That's some great experience. I think one thing that sticks out to me, well, I guess first of all, I have a couple questions out of that, but someone actually posed this question to Jenny and I yesterday. I don't know how many years of experience in customer service that adds up to, but it sounds like a lot. Why are you still involved in customer service in a profession that can potentially be a high burnout profession? What drives you to stay involved in customer service?
I think, well, actually, I like 2 things, interacting with people and also training people, and I also have a training background. I used to also be a professor at the university here. So from that background, I'm able to teach people something about customer service with regard to learning experiences, but also using the skills and the knowledge I've gained over the years to set up programs and develop trainings myself, not only for managers, but also for people in daily contact with the customers. And basically, that's my drive, to teach people new things about customer service, and also to have people develop themselves. And you start out in one place, and you see other people developing themselves to gain a target they set for themselves or for their department or company. And that's what I really enjoy doing, working with other people.
Oh, that's excellent.
Oh, that is really cool.
Well, one question that I had is, and this might be kind of a tangent, but we're actually in a process where we're hiring quite a few call center agents right now, and I'll openly admit that training is not my strong point. What are 2 or 3 things in customer service training that you find really help the information stick with the agents that you work with?
Well, what I find really important when I train people and work with people is I never assume anything. So I always make and set up my training with when I know the learning need of the people that I'm working with. So I always, before I set up a training or develop a training, I always talk to the participants or the manager, but preferably also the participants and the manager, about the need they have or the wishes they have, so that my training fits their needs. And because if I assume upfront what they will be needing, then I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, so it's a very basic thing, but there are a lot of consultants who make assumptions, and it's very human, I think, to make an assumptions based on what you hear other people tell you. But my experience is that you actually need to ask questions, and then even take it a step further and ask more questions, in-depth questions about the needs and the wishes. And not only speak to a manager, because a manager has a different perception and a different view about what's going on in a company and what customers want. And my experience is that people who are in contact on a daily basis with the customer even have more information than, for example, a manager.
Yeah, that's so true. I was telling Jenny yesterday, I was looking at, she mostly goes through a lot of our customer service surveys from customers, and I spent some time yesterday and went through them, and it had been a few weeks since I had looked at them, and I just was reminded again that it's so easy to lose touch with what the customers are saying if you're not going through that feedback and talking with the frontline agents. But that's such a great point.
And I agree with you on if you have the possibility, even, and there is a budget, for example, then even talk to the customer or a group of customers yourselves, so that you get the entire 360 degrees view, and can even set up an even better training.
That's
I
awesome.
think we learn the most from those survey feedbacks. We'll take them, own them, resolve the issue, and see how we can improve. And then, they write in another survey, and things are, to their standard to improve. But I do have a question for you. So, in all of your working with with clients, you know, customers, and like, are there any common trends that you found of areas for improvement, for example, that everyone has needed to improve? Like, what are some things that you always focus on, even though you said not to assume, but things that you found in your, you know, business that, you know, most call centers or most customers do need help with? How do you, like, what are those areas?
I think first of all is communication. How do you communicate with your customer? What type of words are good to use and what type of words aren't? Because people are very sensitive to the way you talk to them, and they're also sensitive in how you speak to them. And for example, you know, the word no or the word problem, those type of words are, yeah, people are very sensitive to those type of words. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, if you say to a customer, no, we don't have this product, or no, we can't help you, then, you know, that's a disappointment, or people could even get upset. You know, trying to find a solution, even if you're not sure that you would be able to, you know, it's already a more positive way of communicating to a customer. So I think communication is one of the areas that's very important, not only with regard to the customer, but also between employees and also manager employees. So that's one of the things that I always focus on. Another thing is paying attention to your customer. You know, everyone wants to get some kind of attention. Every customer would like to feel special. So my point is always make sure you make the customer feel special. You know, yeah, that's something that I always focus on, the attention you pay to your customer.
That's really important. What are some ways that you found have been the most, I guess, with the most positive feedback when you pay attention to customers? Like, what type of things? Like just being available, or, you know, any things that you do, like sending cards. Like, we have our customer appreciation station where we'll, you know, make personalized cards and send things. Like, have you found, what type of things have you found that have been the most successful as far as paying attention to your customer?
Well, what I've heard about the tips I gave was, for example, one of the participants in the training said, okay, she's a lawyer, and she had some difficulty with regard to customers who keep sending her emails, and you know, she's working on their case, and the customer wanted to know, well, when do I receive an answer from you? And even though you might not be able to provide an answer immediately, what I told her was, well, maybe you can provide an answer immediately, but you can let the customer know you received their email and provide some information about when you will be able to get back to them. At least you acknowledge the customer will know that you have received their email, and you will be able to manage their expectation. You know, so staying in contact with the customer, acknowledging the customer, and giving them, you know, a time span with regard to when the reaction will be available. And that's already managing the customer expectation, which is also a very important part in servicing your customer, of course.
That's really awesome. Thank you.
It's funny because I'm curious to get your perspective here. It seems like a lot of the stuff we're talking about is stuff that we're tweeting and emailing and blogging about all the time. Do you find that a lot of companies just aren't doing a lot of this stuff, and you go into a company and consult with them and find that over and over a lot of companies aren't doing these foundational things to care for their customers?
Well, I think there's a difference between American customer service and European or Dutch customer service. I've been to the US many times, actually, to several parts in the US, and I can actually tell a difference between the American customer service and the way you react to customers compared to what we have here. So to me, that's what may be a very basic, and to me also maybe a very basic thing, like you just mentioned, the things we discuss on Twitter or you are blogging about. Well, they're not new here, but people seem to be remembering, or seem to be. They need a reminder to get to the basics again, actually.
Mm.
And well, I think that maybe also because of the good economical situation before in for example, the Netherlands, people leaned a bit backwards when it came to customer service. And now that the economical situation has deteriorated somewhat, people are becoming aware that they have to distinguish themselves from their competitors, and one way of doing that is providing a better customer service. So now here, for example, people are getting a wake-up call with regard to customer expectation, customer service. And the development over here is that a lot of companies are focusing more and more on customer service because of that.
That's really interesting.
That is really interesting. Yeah.
Well, I hope if we get to a point where the economies are flourishing again, that we don't walk away from customer service.
So do I. So do I. Actually.
We're going to have to stand on a street corner holding out signs to remind people to be
don't forget.
great customer service people.
Well, I also think that, you know, the difference between, for example, in the US, I know that when you go to a shop, a clothing store, for example, I believe most of the people who are working in the clothing store get a you know, a basic salary, and then on top of the service they provide to customers or the sales, they get a bonus. And here it's not like that. You don't get an extra bonus for customers you've serviced, or you know, in most shops you don't. So that might also be a trigger over here, or in the US for that matter, to, you know, service your customers in a different way.
That's actually really interesting, because I studied abroad in Ireland, and when I was there we'd go out to eat, and people always told us, don't leave tips on the table. I don't know if it's the same thing, but the waitress said, yeah, we asked the waitress, you know, are we supposed to leave you a tip? And she was like, no. She's like, I already get paid. Why would I get paid extra for serving you? Like, it was the same thing. She didn't make sense. And it was the same thing in Italy. Like, it's very interesting. And whereas here, if you don't leave a tip, the waitress will come chasing after you down the street. Like, you know, so it's it's an interesting perspective of that, the culture.
Yeah, so I think that's a big, well, cultural difference, and it also has an effect on customer service, for that matter.
Yeah, it definitely does.
That's a really interesting thought on motivation. I've been thinking about that. I think I read a blog post on I don't know the website, but Jeff Toyster was talking about rewards for employees, and how if you reward good behavior, sometimes their motivation for that good behavior will be the reward rather than the good behavior itself. Where do you lie on that, Margarita, when you're working? Do you get into rewarding employees when you're doing your consulting?
Well, what do you mean exactly?
I guess what are because I think with tips and whatnot in the U.S., I think our motivation for good service can be getting a tip, or in our customer service culture, sometimes it might be a gift card for doing something above and beyond or really well. But But what do you think? Where do you think the place is for things like extra monetary rewards for doing a good job in customer service?
Well, I think it's important to reward employees when they do a great job, and rewarding them can be, you know, anywhere from a bonus or a gift card or maybe some extra hours off from work, even flowers, you know, things like that. But I think the basic thing is to also show appreciation, and also to acknowledge when an employee has done a great job. And even when you reward your customers for coming back, you know, it's a great thing to have loyal customers. And yeah, I think you can and you should reward them, but it shouldn't be a means to make sure your customers come back. And it also, I think it shouldn't be a means either for a company to reward to make sure their employees know that they're going to be rewarded if they go the extra mile. You know, I think you're either in the service business because you enjoy working with others, and the benefit would be a reward when you do a great job.
Yeah, I tend to agree that we're not going to last long if we don't have some sort of internal motivation.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm saying it right, but get some sort of a high from just doing a great job and making someone's day.
I think that's important, but what many managers seem to forget, is my experience, is to actually say, oh wow, you did a great job. And you know, even when you have a team a meeting, for example, that, you know, you put the spotlight on that particular or those particular employees and acknowledge what they've done and what they mean and meant for your business, even in your team, because that's already a reward.
Absolutely.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So I guess we were talking at the beginning. What you were talking about, a project that you're working on right now that was of real interest to you. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Well, actually, I'm working on two projects at the moment. One will be for a company next week, which is a very young and modern company that provides solutions in solar systems for businesses, but also private homes. And well, they've been on the block for a while, but now they've expanded, and they have a business presentation for customers and also suppliers, because they're into solar solutions and also air conditioning solutions. And they asked me, you know, how can we present ourselves in the best way to our customers, but also to our suppliers. They will be having an open house or a walk-in with a presentation, and then afterwards with some drinks. And I will be helping them to set up the best way to present themselves, and also we'll be focusing on customer service on that particular day, but also in the future. So that's something that's to them is of course really exciting, because they're new at this and they want to do a great job. And then I think the thing that struck me about this company is that they want to be part of a community project. So they're providing solar solutions, and they want to be want to play a role in their community. So go to schools, for example, and provide information to the children, parents, and teachers about sustainability. And I think that's really great, because they have a particular knowledge, and also because of the business they're in. And they extend that knowledge to children and make them more aware of, you know, how to be responsible with regard to water and electricity.
Wow, that's actually really interesting. They're doing so much on so many levels, helping the earth, helping their community, helping their business and their customers. I could definitely see why that would be so overwhelming, and they want to make sure that they're doing it correctly. They're lucky they have you. That's a lot going on there. So, wow.
Yeah,
Good for
I'm
them.
very excited.
Awesome.
I'm very excited about it, and I really can relate to, you know, to that also because, of course, I used to be a faculty member at the university. So to me, that actually provides and it gives a different dimension to their business, and it gets me even more involved and more enthusiastic. And then the other project is related to health clubs because of also the economical situation. Health clubs are nowadays in a more difficult position because that's one of the first things people will be cutting back on. And now even more than before, I think customer service in that area is also very interesting and good topic to focus on, to make sure that the clients you already have in your health club are your loyal clients, and what can you actually do to keep them your clients, but make sure they become your ambassadors.
Yeah,
I like that, ambassadors. That's cool. Yeah.
Somehow get people to cut back on food instead of the health club. I think
well, I'm not sure if they have to cut back on food, though.
Yeah, and when you're right near Belgium, or you know, Belgium, and you have that chocolate there, why would you cut back? Just kidding.
That is a very good.
Well, I think that a lot of well, I'm sure you agree. All kinds of businesses, they have a database with extensive information about clients, but do they use the database to the maximum of the possibilities? I always wonder about that because you have a lot of information as a health club about your customers.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I would guess that not as many businesses are using that database to their advantage. For even our business, I don't know if we have anything even like that. I don't know if we even use anything like that. It's really interesting because that could be pretty powerful to increase your customer base.
I think so. For example, you know, if I would be working in a health club, I have, well, you know, the date of birth of all your customers because they have to fill it in on the enrollment form or the, you know, when they register. And the easiest thing you could do is send them an email, you know, on their birthday or in the week of their birthday, and I don't know, come over to our health club and you get a free glass of orange juice or whatever, you know, for your birthday.
Yeah.
Just a, you know, a very simple gesture, but I think it's very effective.
Yeah, those being acknowledged for your birthday is like the greatest thing for customers, and it's cool just to get free stuff and to be like, oh yeah, someone remembered my birthday. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Like you said, Jenny, send them a personalized birthday card.
Mm-hmm.
That's even better.
Yeah, and they love it because not many businesses do that, and it really sets you apart. Definitely.
Actually, it does. I had a great experience maybe 2 months ago when I started to get some treatment from a chiropractor here in Delft, where I live, and I went for a first treatment, and then within 2 days I received a handwritten card. Hi, Margarita. We would like to welcome you to our practice, and we are very glad that you will be you know, having treatments with us, and we hope you will feel better soon. And
Wow.
I was really impressed because it was handwritten. The card was really nice, and it was, yes, it was a personal welcome.
That is really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
thought
is
so.
amazing. Well, cool. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, this has been really, really awesome. I'm so glad we got to finally meet with you on here.
So am I, so am I. But I think we have to do this again, and then I can ask you a lot of questions. Because, I have so many questions for you guys, but the Hangout is almost over.
That
Yeah.
sounds good. We'll have to do that.
Well, we can answer one question if you have one for us, or we can save it for next time.
Okay. Well, I'm very interested to learn how you align your customer service activities, because you are, well, obviously, both of you are in different parts of the U.S., different cities. So how do you align, what you do on a daily basis?
That's actually a really good question. Thank goodness for technology. I think that's the one thing that really allows us to, obviously communicate and while Jeremy handles more of like the statistics and bigger stuff like that, I'm on Instant Messenger sending answers to questions to our reps and our Oregon team or our San Diego team, and if I have questions, I just send him an IM, and so luckily we're able to kind of stay together with that, and email and our phone system. But it's definitely difficult, like the time zone thing. It's hard to schedule meetings together sometimes, and it's definitely a challenge, but it's doable. We've somehow made it work. Jeremy, what do you think?
Jenny and I are the kind of people that we are least productive if we are together in person or over webcam. She busts her glasses out, and then it's all over. I'm world renowned for being terrible at focusing when I'm on a webcam. But yeah, technology is huge, but it also helps. I mean, Jenny she pays us a couple visits out here a year, which really helps, I think, because I think you can successfully be a remote employee, but I think having an in-person interaction at least once in a while is irreplaceable on a lot of levels.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it's great when she comes out, because in this office we have a lot of programmers, and it gets kind of dull sometimes. Jenny comes and livens it up a little bit.
I try. I'll be out there next week.
Yeah. But yeah, the tweeting and the blogging has really helped us to kind of just come together and have a steady stream of just talking customer service, and it's great. I love Twitter for just the ability to find little chunks of inspiration in every tweet. And thank you so much for all the inspiration you post.
Yes, thank you. I love just starting my day and reading through different tweets and seeing all the great stuff. It gets me all amped for the day.
Well, I'm with you on that one. I mean, I think nowadays it's one of the first things I do, even when I get up, because I'm so curious to see what the news is, what kind of interesting thoughts and ideas my friends in the U.S. and other countries have about customer service and also other topics. So it's one of the first things I actually do and check in the morning.
That's awesome.
I sometimes have to wean myself off of it.
It's almost like an addiction, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Just a little bit. But it is fun. I feel like it's inspiring.
So what will you guys be doing? Because you have like an entire day in front of you. What are you focusing on today?
Well, helping customers. I have some callbacks to make and emails to send. So lots of stuff and answering questions for our West Coast team over the instant messenger. So it's going to be a busy day.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get to crunch some customer service stats, so I can share with my boss and let him know what we're doing.
That sounds really exciting.
What are you doing for the rest of the evening?
It's not my area of expertise. I much prefer to talk about great customer service and solve problems, much more than sitting and looking at spreadsheets.
Well, I can imagine, but still, those are also very important.
Yeah, there's definitely a balance there for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited that we finally got to do the hangout.
Yeah.
I know. Fortunately, the third time was the charm.
I know. Yes, and we will have to schedule another one for the near future.
Well, it would be my pleasure. I would love that.
Thank you
Excellent.
so much.
So yeah, to those of you watching us in our hangout, sorry about the background noise. They're installing a dishwasher in our office.
Oh, is that what that
We
is?
don't kill as many trees. But we will post Margarita's Twitter handle and any other information she wants us to post on our blog, and we definitely encourage you to follow her. She has great customer service as well as business insights on her Twitter feed, and we encourage you to follow her as well. Thanks so much, Margarita, for joining us today.
Thank you, Jeremy, and Jenny for inviting me. And yeah, I'm really honored and also very excited about doing this Google Hangout. It's really great to do these type of things in an international setting.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Have an amazing day today. Have a great evening, Margarita.
Yes, great
Thank you so
evening.
much.
All
Thank
right.
you. I hope you have the day off tomorrow because of Ascension, or are you working?
I'm working.
But maybe you should take the day off. I like that idea.
That sounds like a great idea.
Okay. I guess I'm the only one of us who's not working tomorrow.
Well, enjoy it for us.
I will. I'll send you an extra Twitter message.
Okay.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Have a great day.
Thank you.